Hey guys, Melanie Gray here from 4th Street Creative, and today I am going to show you how you can take any of your photos and edit them in Lightroom so that they match the tone, the look, the feel of your Instagram grid. Are you ready? Let's head into Lightroom and I'm going to walk you through step by step how you can edit the same photo for two different brand styles. Let's go. So here we are in Lightroom, and I've just taken a random stock image off the internet, something that you might have snapped yourself if you were giving your audience a preview of an upcoming listing. And I'm going to show you how you can edit the exact same photo for two very different brand styles in an effort to show you that it doesn't matter what photo you're using or, how off-brand it seems, you can always make adjustments to make it fit your grid. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that now. So the first brand style that we're going to be working with is modern minimal. So when I look at this photo, I think it already looks crisp and clean, but it does need some adjustments. So we're going to head over to the light tab and I'm going to adjust the exposure because when I think of modern minimal, I think of bright white light. And now by adjusting the exposure, we're giving this photo a little bit more light. Then I always like to bump up the contrast a little bit because it makes everything in the photo look a little bit better than it would in real life. Then I'm going to adjust the shadows. I don't want a lot of shadows in this photo because again, modern, minimal, bright white. I'm going to adjust the whites. I'm going to bring them up a little bit. And then I always like to bring the blacks down ever so slightly, but you can always go the opposite way and you can see that it removes those blacks in the photo. Then on your bottom bar here, I'm going to head over to the color tab and show you a trick that's going to change your life. In the color tab, you'll see at the top, there's the mix button. Hit that mix button and we're going to head over to yellow. And then I'm going to reduce the saturation of that yellow. And you can see instantly that it removes that yellow tone that can happen when you're in a warm room with warm lighting. So now it is bright white and we've removed that yellowish hue that tends to make photos look a little bit less professional. So once I've removed enough yellow, we don't want to remove too much because then everything will kind of look off, but we're just removing it ever so slightly and then hit done. You can also adjust the temperature here. So you can bring it down ever so slightly to make it look cooler or warmer. Oh, I think I just did the wrong thing. There. Yeah, reduce the temperature and you can get a cooler effect to the photo, which again, in my mind, that's modern minimal. Now, if you head over on the bottom bar, if you head over to effects, this is where you can bump up the clarity to make everything pop a little bit in the photo. And then I always like to add a little bit of grain, which makes everything look a little bit better in the photo as well. So now we have a bright white photo. I might actually go over to light and bump up the contrast a little bit more and the exposure a little bit more. You don't want to blow out the photo, meaning things will look unnatural. You just want to make everything look slightly better than it did, and definitely you want it to look like it fits into your feed. So once you're done, I'm going to export this to my camera roll and save it so I can show you side by side the final effect. Now, if we head over to versions, you'll see the original looked like that, and now we have this bright, modern, white photo that will fit into our feed if our brand style is modern minimal. So what happens if we have a moody vintage brand style, which is the exact opposite of modern minimal? Well, let's head back over to the original photo and we're going to head back to the light section. And I'm going to reduce the exposure here because I want it to look a little moodier, and that means darker. So just ever so slightly reduce the exposure. Again, I'm going to bump up the contrast because I still want to achieve that effect of everything looking a little bit better. Up the highlights a bit, and here with the shadows, I'm going to bring these right down. I want a lot of shadows in my photo. I want it to look darker, moodier. Then with the whites, this is up to you. If you like to have brighter whites in your photo, you can adjust it that way. And I'm definitely going to bring out the blacks because my personal brand style has a lot of blacks in it. So I want everything to pop in that regard. Then I'm going to head over to color. And again, I'm going to reduce the yellow because I don't need the yellow in there for it to look moody. And I feel like when there's a lot of yellow in a photo, it can make it look unprofessional. So just reduce that yellow. And then under effects, I'm going to bring up the grain Makes the photo look a little bit better. And then I'm gonna add a slight vignette. And that vignette adds a very slight frame around the outer edges of your photo, which draws the eye in, but also for a moody vintage look, it really does add to that depth, that darkness, that moodiness. So that's why we're doing that. And then clarity, I always like to bump up the clarity. And for moody vintage, I'm gonna add some texture to this photo. And head back to light, and I'm gonna see if I can get away with just reducing the exposure ever so slightly. And there we have it. So if we head over to versions, that's the original, and that's edited for a moody vintage feed. Do you see how simple that was? Now, once you're done with these effects, you're gonna head over to, if you look at the top of the screen, there are 3 dots. Hit those 3 dots and hit create preset. Once you're in this frame, you're gonna name your preset. So you can name this Moody 1, save it. I'm gonna say Moody Test because I have a whole bunch of Moody ones. Moody Test, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna name it A so that it's at the very top. All right, so now I've saved that preset. And a preset is just a group of adjustments that you've made to a photo. So now that this preset is saved, the next time I bring a photo in, all I have to do on the bottom bar here is head over to presets, and under user presets, you'll see that it's right there labeled A, and I just hit that button and it will apply those adjustments to all of my future photos that I bring in. Now you might have to make a few adjustments here and there because not all photos are taken in the same light, in the same room, with the same exposure, but half of the work, if not more, is already done for you. So with the hit of one button, the click of a button, you now have the ability to create an effect on your photos that will blend seamlessly into your feed. Now tell me, wasn't that easy? That was so easy, right? This is one of my favorite tricks, and I could not live without Lightroom for my Instagram marketing. I hope that that was helpful. Okay, and here we have an overview of everything that we've done in Lightroom today. On the top, you have the original, and on the bottom left, you have the modern minimal, which is light and bright and airy. And on the bottom right, we have modern moody vintage, which is darker, has more shadows, and just gives you that moodier feel. Both of these were accomplished in such little time, so easy to do. And I just want you to remember that regardless of what your brand style is, whether it's modern minimal, moody vintage, colorful and bold, soft and elegant, you can head into Lightroom, you can make these adjustments once, save them as a preset, and then every single subsequent photo you take, whether they're photos of your kids or listings or family or functions, whatever it is, you can bring these photos into Lightroom, and with the touch of a button, you can apply your preset and you are good to go. So I hope that that was helpful. If you want more tips like this, please join us in our free Facebook group, The Design Den, which is to help you up-level your marketing, branding, and design. I hope that we see you in there, and happy designing, friends.